What Hamas has created in Gaza is urban warfare taken to the 100th degree. It's something entirely new. It is the integrated weaponization of an entire urban landscape, resting on the knowledge that the population in that urban landscape is entirely supportive of the goals of Hamas. The stashes of weapons are inside the homes, the mosques, the kindergarten, under the baby cots, in a children's room. All of that was prepared ahead of time. The construction of hundreds of kilometers of tunnels using the billions of dollars that were flowing into the Gaza Strip, thinking that the Palestinians were a poor people needing of aid and reconstruction, have gone underground to create those tunnels, to create those piers. All of this construction took place with the full knowledge of the population and its support. One can only stash weapons in the homes, in the mosques, in the schools, when doing so within a supportive population. When President Biden and many others, including in Israel, agreed to participate in the line that Hamas doesn't represent the Palestinians, they did it with absolutely no evidence. In fact, the evidence was quite the contrary. Not only did Hamas build its entire military doctrine and infrastructure secure in the knowledge that it is working within a supportive population, it was planning October 7th knowing that it would be hugely popular, and we saw the euphoria that was among civilians in Gaza after October 7th. The entire fighting after October 7th continued to rest on the support of the population. And yet so many in the West and Israel absolved Palestinians of any responsibility, sharing a lie that Hamas doesn't represent the Palestinians, despite all evidence to the contrary, and essentially declared that the war that Israel is waging is only against Hamas rather than Gaza or the Palestinians. Hamas represents the Palestinians not just in the simple sense of having been elected or enjoying polls on October 7th being hugely popular. They represent the Palestinians in the sense that they represent the deepest ethos and identity of Palestinianism as the ideology and identity that is based on a complete and total rejection of the equal right of the Jewish people as a people for self-determination in their homeland. Hamas is but the most brutal executor of that ideology, but it is operating on behalf of that ideology. And we can see it that supposedly the more moderate, the PLO, the Fatah, the Palestinian Authority, they have never come out against Hamas. They completely talk about them as being part of the fabric of Palestinian society, as they very much are. They continue to be hugely popular in the West Bank and around the world. There are no notable Palestinian voices that truly present an alternative to the ethos that Hamas represents so well, and on behalf of which it carried out October 7th and continues to fight today. When the Israeli military fights, given Hamas's military doctrine, the integrated, weaponized urban landscape, the fact that the population is supportive, when the Israeli military fights this way, even under those incredibly difficult conditions, even under this line, that there is a separation between Hamas and the supportive population, the results are remarkable. We don't know the real numbers yet, but even if we work with several tens of thousands, we know enough to know that about half of them are the trained murderers of Hamas, which means the ratio of combatants, trained murderers, to civilians, supportive civilians, is 1-to-1. These are unheard of outcomes, unparalleled, and actually exemplary. And rather than people claiming that they have problems with how the Israeli military is conducting the war, they need to understand that what they are witnessing is actually something extraordinary and exemplary.